Hello, welcome once again to Stuff and Things, where I like to talk about stuffs and occasionally even things. I'm your good friend Bradley, and today is a very pleasant Sunday Stuff and Things. Much more pleasant than last Sunday, where I was feeling a little bit under the weather. This week, we will have a reading from Peter Straub's The Throat. We will continue with that. We're going to talk about the video I posted last week, which I had posted in a response to feedback I wanted to get from you about what video I should post last week. We'll get into that. We will talk about a video I just recorded that was actually in response to a comment I got from a viewer who needed a little help with something. So I was trying to make a video because I thought it would not only help him, but a lot of other people out there. And then on Stuff and Things Plays, the Outer Wilds series is finally ending. We'll talk about what's next there. And then, of course, we have your questions right here in hashtag askstuffandthings. So let's get to it, shall we? All right. First, a reading from Peter Straub's The Throat. Peter Straub is an award-winning author, a very nice guy, a Stuff and Things viewer, and a Patreon supporter, and he has given us permission to read from his book, The Throat, every single week. We continue now. Havens must have been the reason Scoot was on the body squad instead of out in the field where he belonged. I had been wondering what someone like Scoot could do that would be bad enough to banish him from his regular unit, and it occurred to me that now I was about to find out. Scoot stared at De Maestro. You know what's going to happen here? We'll send him home, De Maestro said. Give me a drink, Scoot said. I poured the rest of the Jack Daniels into my glass and walked across the shed to get a look at Captain Havens. I gave Scoot the glass and looked down at a brown-haired American man. His jaw was square, and so was his forehead. He had that pricky little nose and those pricky little eyes. A transparent sheet of adhesive plastic covered the hole in his chest. Scoot tossed the glass back to me and detached his knife from his peculiar thong, which looked more than ever like a body part. Then I saw what it was. Scoot noticed my quiver of revulsion, and he turned his crazy glance on me again. You think this is about revenge? You're wrong. It's proof. Proof that he was right and Captain Havens had been wrong. Wrong from the start. No matter what he said, I still thought it was revenge. Attica took an interested step forward. Picklock sat up straight in the back of the truck. Scoot leaned over Captain Havens' body and began sawing off his left ear. It took more effort than I had imagined it would, and the long cords of muscle stood out in his arm. At length, the white-gray bit of flesh stretched and came away, looking smaller than it had on Captain Havens' head. Dry it out, be fine in a week or two, Scoot said. He placed the ear beside him on the concrete and bent over Captain Havens like a surgeon in mid-operation. He was smiling with concentration. Scoot pushed the double-edged point beneath the hair just beside the wound he had made and began running the blade upwards along the hairline. Gross. Okay, gang. That was our reading this week from Peter Straub's The Throat. More next week, where we will finish chapter 4, I believe. Intriguing. But next, I mentioned we were going to talk about, where are my notes? The video last week. I posted my video on my Fender Telecaster, my Fender American Professional Telecaster, and nobody watched it. Not a single person. I think maybe 600 people watched it, which is insanely low for this channel. So I just want to reiterate, it's good, it's fun, it's nice. Even if you don't like guitars, I think it's still interesting. The video I posted of my Martin guitar got good views, got a good viewership. So I'm thinking the Telecaster video will probably have some legs on it, more than the typical Sunday Stuff and Things video. But you know, a lot of people expressed interest in seeing that video. So in case you didn't get a chance, check out last Wednesday's video about my Fender Telecaster. We might have some more music stuff, or we might not. If nobody wants to watch it, then I might not post any more of that. We shall see. And I know a lot of people wanted me to actually do a video on the other option, where I would be talking about the current public health crisis, but there were enough people who said they didn't want to see that, and then just my own second thoughts about whether or not that would be a good idea led me to do the Telecaster video. So we'll see. I know that if I talk about that other subject, I will just end up getting annoyed and probably annoying a bunch of people out there. So for now, we're gonna leave that alone, but I do implore you, watch that Telecaster video. It's not about money or anything, because I don't really make any money off the videos anyway. I just love using, or I need to use, the views as a way of gauging interest in a topic. And if I don't see the views, then I assume that there isn't that much interest. And it's funny though, because some people accuse me occasionally, there's some trolls out there who will accuse me of just trying to post videos for views, which I don't see how that could necessarily be a bad thing. But even if it weren't a bad thing, or if it were a bad thing, or whatever I'm trying to say here, if I were really trying to post videos for views, this channel would look a lot different than it is right now. I mean, I mostly talk about very esoteric, very specific things that don't have a broad appeal. So if I wanted to have a broad appeal, I would post very different types of videos on this channel. But within our little niche that we have here, I want to know that what I am posting is interesting to you. And so, yeah, if I don't get much of a viewership for a particular type of video, I probably won't do too much more of that type of video, unless it's something that just I'm really passionate about, which I am with guitars right now. So we'll see. I guess I'm basically saying maybe I'll post more guitar stuff, maybe I won't. If you guys watch the guitar videos, then it will at least give me one indication that I should post some more. Next, last week, I got a response, I think it was to last week's Sunday Stuff and Things. There was a comment from, now I apologize if I mispronounce your name, Ashgar Bakari, I think is how you pronounce it. And Ashgar was having a lot of frustration. He's trying to get into the pipe hobby, and he posted a video on YouTube in which he was expressing his frustration about just having difficulty in enjoying it through the whole process of trying to light it and keeping it lit, and the flavor and just everything about it. And he was asking me some very specific questions in his comment about what he was doing wrong and what he could do. And it was too involved for me to really answer it just via YouTube comments. But it made me think, after seeing that video that he had posted and after hearing his comment or reading his comment that he had left on my video, it made me realize that maybe it was time for me to do another kind of revisited video. And this time I decided I would do a very, hopefully, very concise and very constructive how to smoke a pipe video. And that is what I was just recording recently. I'm using this old basket pipe that I had because I was showing the kind of pipes you could use. Doesn't have to be an expensive pipe. And I went through the whole thing, just very basically how to get into the pipe hobby. And mostly focusing on mechanics, mostly focusing on, again, the very fundamental things. So a lot of you who have been in the hobby for a long time, you may or may not find the video useful, but I think there are a lot of people, and I know there are a lot of new people coming in, finding the channel. And granted, I had that old pipe, what did I even call it? I think it was like Guide to Pipe something? Guide to Pipe Smoking series way back, like 5-6 years ago. But maybe it's time to update some of that. But I figured I would try at least to make one video where if you are brand new to the hobby, you could just watch that video and find out enough to really get started and get started out on the right foot. So that is what I was working on today, and that is what we'll be posting on Wednesday. And hopefully Ashgar is watching this and he will realize that I am following through on what I said and making that video. And let me know if it's helpful to you. If you watch that video, Ashgar, let me know if it works. And also, all of you out there, if you are new to the hobby, does that video, or will this video, when the video posts, did the video help you? I would like to know that as well. And then I will maybe post the video I mentioned where I was going to do kind of not a shootout between my two guitars, but basically showing you the tonal differences between my Fender Telecaster and my Rickenbacker 330. We'll see, depending on your responses today and whether or not other people watch the video about the Telecaster. We'll figure it out. In other news, on Stuff and Things Plays, some of you have been following the Outer Wilds playthrough that I've been posting on there for quite some time now. I think we're up to episode 46, I think, posted on Friday. I just want to let you know that we're almost done. This game has gone on for much longer than I thought it would. I thought it was a very small, very simple game. It's not. It's very complicated, very involved, very cool. But it seems as though it is finally ending. I recorded episodes 47, 48, 49 this week, and it looks as though those will be posting Monday, Wednesday, Friday of next week, and then it seems like we will be ending the week after that, I think. Which means it's time for me to pick a new game for a long play series on Stuff and Things Plays, and I'm pretty sure I know what it's gonna be. I hope that you out there enjoy my choice. I think if you are fans of the Dark Souls and Dark Souls 3 series that I've done on the Stuff and Things Plays channel, you will probably be a fan of this next game that we're going to highlight on Stuff and Things Plays. But not this coming week, but the week after should be the premiere of the brand new series on Stuff and Things Plays. And now it is time to get to your questions on hashtag askstuffandthings. Remember, if you have a question for me and you would like it answered on the Sunday Stuff and Things, tweet at SATBradley with the hashtag askstuffandthings, and I will do my best to answer you on the next Sunday Stuff and Things. If you are also a Patreon supporter, you can write to me on Patreon and I will answer your question here as well. We have first from Twitter, Zach at Great White Bart. Is he asking for a voice? He is not. Brad, your revisited series got me to pick up Peterson University Flake recently after 3 years off. What a great burley this is. I could have sworn you did a review of this blend, but couldn't find it. Have you ever had it? Take care, Zach. University Flake. God, there have been so many reviews now, it's almost impossible for me to just, off the top of my head, tell you whether or not I reviewed a blend, but I'm pretty sure I have not done University Flake. If that is not the case, after I record this, I will check. But I guess I'm sure some of you out there will remember as well, but I'm pretty sure I haven't. So I will look into that. Next, from MP Feldman at Count Vivant. Bradley, my good friend, question for you. Oh, wait, please read in your stodgiest British accent. Bradley, my good friend, question for you. Are you interested in history? If so, what era or event interests you the most? I am interested in history quite a bit. I enjoy ancient history probably the most. I think prehistoric times, or not necessarily when dinosaurs roamed the earth, but I mean before the advent of the written word. I'm fascinated by very early man. I read a book recently that was really cool called Europe Between the Ice, I believe. Is that what it was called? It was basically a history of humans from the last glacial maximum until basically the dawn of what we consider ancient history, like the Sumerians and those first ancient civilizations. And it even gets into that a bit as well. That was really cool. It was written in a really interesting narrative style. I've also enjoyed just really big, kind of broad survey books like, oh God, why can't I remember anyone's name right now? There is it Davis who wrote The Isles, which was a history of the British Isles, and then I believe he also just wrote a book called Europe, which is a survey of European history from like prehistory till all the way through World War II, I believe. So I enjoy getting a broad outlook like that, and then I can also find, I can get fascinated by very specific eras and specific events in history as well. So yes, I have a big interest in history and a broad interest in history. Next, from Chris Coffey at Matchin' Guy regarding English blends with basma. Some say, so this was last week, we had a question where a viewer was asking if there was a good replacement for McClelland, Frogmorton, On the Town, and I was mentioning that On the Town had basma in it, and I was trying to think of other blends with basma in it. And so Chris, very generously, is given some information here. He says, some say Presbyterian Mixture has it. I don't remember Presbyterian Mixture having it, but definitely Peterson's Old Dublin. God, it's been forever since I had that too, but I'll take your word for it, Chris. Rattray's Red Lion and Hearth & Home's Magnum Opus. So there you go, some information for you there. Next, from Raymond Geisel at Pomersche, Pomersche 92. How do you store your pipes and tea? Do you also display a couple of them? No, not really. I just have them in a cupboard for the most part. I do have stands with pipes on them, but they're not, that's just kind of, that's my daily rotation or my weekly rotation of pipes. It's not a display for display's sake, I guess. Just more for practicality, because those are the pipes I'm going to be grabbing all the time, so I just have them ready. But yeah, I think it'd be cool if I had the room to do that, but I just don't really do that. Next. No, not next. That was the last question. I think we've gotten to the end of this week's hashtag AskStuffandThings, but that's not the end of this week's Sunday Stuff and Things, because it's time for the best part of the Sunday Stuff and Things, and that is where we thank you, our Patreon supporters. If you support the channels on Patreon at $25 or more a month, you get a special shout out every week. We appreciate you all so much, and we like to thank you personally by shouting out your name. And so now I would like to thank AJ Hoge, Ryan McFadin, MDoftheNorth, Kirk Crompton, Private Eye, Cody Striegler, Ryan Stauffer, corbynborbyn, and Glenn. And now for the Maniacs, the crazy people who support the channel at $100 a month. People like Peter Straub and Bob Magee. Thank you all so much. If you would like to support the channel, there is a link in the description box below. But if you don't want to do that, we'd appreciate it if you just subscribe, hit like, share, do all that good stuff, leave comments, ask questions on hashtag AskStuffandThings. It all helps, and it's all much appreciated. Thank you so much for watching this week's edition of Sunday Stuff and Things. Tune in for the very broad, but I hope very helpful video that we'll be posting Wednesday on how to smoke a pipe. The Outer Wilds series will soon be drawing to an end on Stuff and Things Plays. But until next time, until we meet again, I'm your good friend Bradley. You've been the audience. This has been Stuff and Things on a pleasant Sunday Stuff and Things. I'll see you later.